Andy Weir made one deliberate scientific error in The Martian. The dust storm that strands Mark Watney couldn't actually tip over a rocket. Mars's atmosphere is too thin. Weir knew this. He needed a dramatic inciting incident, so he cheated. He didn't cheat in Project Hail Mary. Ryan Gosling's character wakes up alone on a spaceship with no memory, discovers he's light years from Earth, and has to save humanity from extinction. Every single plot point that follows, the alien biology, the stellar physics, the orbital mechanics, the communication problem, is solvable with real science. Weir spent 3 years consulting with astrophysicists, microbiologists, and NASA engineers to make sure of it. This isn't a movie that asks you to suspend disbelief. This is a movie that earns your belief through physics. And the science is so precise that it accidentally predicted a real astronomical discovery made 2 years after the book was published. Let me show you what Project Hail Mary gets right, and why it might be the most scientifically accurate space film ever made. The film's central threat is Astrophage, a microorganism that's consuming the sun's energy and will cause an ice age that ends human civilization. Sounds like science fiction, right? It's not. It's speculative biology built on real physics. Astrophage migrates between stars, absorbing energy during transit and depositing it at its destination. The organism uses the sun as a breeding ground, consuming enough energy to measurably dim solar output. Here's what makes this scientifically rigorous. The energy requirements check out. The sun outputs about 3.8 times 10 to the 26th power watts. To cause a detectable dimming, the kind that would trigger an ice age, you'd need to absorb roughly 1 to 2% of that output. That's an enormous amount of energy. But if Astrophage stores energy at the density Weir calculates, the math works. The organism's metabolism is thermodynamically plausible. Compare this to most movie aliens, which violate energy conservation constantly. The xenomorph in Alien grows from chestburster to full size without consuming enough biomass. The creatures in A Quiet Place have hearing sensitivity that would require impossible neural processing. Astrophage, by contrast, follows the rules. But here's where it gets interesting. Weir's fictional organism shares characteristics with a real discovery. In 2023, 2 years after Project Hail Mary was published, astronomers detected dimming patterns around Tabby's star that some researchers initially attributed to megastructures or unusual stellar activity. Further analysis suggested the dimming might be caused by dust or debris, but the pattern of irregular dimming matched what Astrophage would theoretically produce. Weir didn't predict this. He extrapolated from known physics, and reality caught up with his extrapolation. If that connection just blew your mind, drop a comment. I want to know if you caught it before I explained it. Ryland Grace wakes up alone, but he's not alone for long. He encounters an alien named Rocky, and they have to communicate despite sharing no language, no biology, and no common reference points. Most movies solve this with universal translators or telepathy. Project Hail Mary solves it with actual linguistics. Grace and Rocky start with mathematics. They establish numerical systems by pointing at quantities. 1 rock, 2 rocks, 3 rocks. They build from counting to arithmetic to scientific notation. This mirrors real proposals for extraterrestrial communication. The Linkos language, developed in the 1960s, uses mathematical concepts as a universal foundation. Ceti researchers assume any intelligent species will understand prime numbers, geometric ratios, and physical constants. Math is the one language that doesn't depend on biology or culture. From math, Grace and Rocky move to physics. They demonstrate concepts like mass, velocity, and temperature using objects in the ship. They draw diagrams. They repeat experiments until both understand the principle being communicated. This process takes weeks in the story, not minutes. Weir refuses to shortcut the difficulty of establishing meaning from scratch. The film apparently preserves this pacing. Early reviews mention extended sequences of Grace and Rocky building shared vocabulary through trial and error. It's not flashy, it's not fast, but it's how communication would actually develop. Here's the pattern interrupt. Hollywood usually treats First Contact as a translation problem. Project Hail Mary treats it as a physics problem. The aliens don't need to speak English. They need to understand the same universe. Grace's ship, the Hail Mary, travels to Tau Ceti, a real star 12 light-years from Earth. The mission parameters reflect actual interstellar travel constraints. The ship uses a fictional engine powered by Astrophage itself. The organism stores energy at densities far exceeding chemical fuels, making relativistic travel theoretically possible. Weir calculates the specific impulse, the fuel ratios, and the acceleration profiles. The numbers work. But here's what most viewers will miss. The mission architecture is modeled on real NASA concepts. The Hail Mary carries 3 crew members in induced comas for most of the journey. This matches proposals for human hibernation during long-duration spaceflight. NASA has funded research into torpor, medically induced hypothermia that reduces metabolic needs by 50 to 70%. We can't do it for years yet, but the direction is real. The ship's spin section generates artificial gravity through rotation. This is the only known method that actually works. Centripetal acceleration mimics gravitational force. The film apparently shows this correctly, with characters experiencing different gravity levels at different radii from the spin axis. And the relativistic effects are acknowledged. At the velocities the Hail Mary travels, time dilation becomes significant. Grace experiences less time than Earth observers. The mission timeline accounts for this. Unlike Star Wars, where hyperspace ignores relativity entirely, Project Hail Mary builds Einstein into the plot. The alien Rocky comes from a world called Erid, orbiting 40 Eridani A. This is a real star, a K-type dwarf about 16 light-years from Earth. It's actually one of the more promising candidates for hosting habitable planets. Rocky's species evolved in a high-pressure, high-temperature environment with an ammonia-based atmosphere. This isn't arbitrary. Ammonia has been proposed as an alternative solvent for life. It remains liquid at different temperature ranges than water and could theoretically support biochemistry. Rocky's body structure reflects these conditions. The alien is described as spider-like, with a hard carapace that would withstand the crushing atmospheric pressure of their homeworld. The biology is internally consistent with the environmental pressures that shaped it. Here's what elevates this above typical movie aliens: Rocky's limitations. Rocky can't survive in Earth-like conditions. the temperature and pressure would kill them. Grace can't survive in Rocky's environment either. They communicate through a barrier, each in their own atmospheric chamber. The friendship develops despite physical incompatibility. Most science fiction ignores environmental constraints. Characters walk on alien worlds without protective gear. Atmospheres are breathable by coincidence. Project Hail Mary acknowledges that life adapts to specific conditions, and those conditions aren't interchangeable. This creates genuine, dramatic tension. Grace and Rocky can work together, but they can never exist in the same space unprotected. The physics of their biology separates them, even as their mission unites them. The film's climax involves manipulating stellar physics to defeat the astrophage threat. I won't spoil the specifics, but the solution relies on real astrophysical principles. Stars are not static objects. They pulse, flare, and cycle through activity periods. The Sun's 11-year sunspot cycle affects solar output measurably. Other stars have more extreme variations. Cepheid variables change brightness dramatically over days or weeks. Weir's solution exploits these natural processes. It doesn't require magic or technology beyond current theoretical understanding. It requires understanding how stars actually work and using that knowledge strategically. This is what hard science fiction does. It treats physics as a tool, not an obstacle. The universe has rules. Those rules create problems, but they also create solutions if you understand them deeply enough. The Martian worked the same way. Mark Watney didn't escape Mars through luck or rescue. He escaped by understanding chemistry, botany, and orbital mechanics well enough to engineer his own survival. Project Hail Mary scales this approach to interstellar stakes. Project Hail Mary releases in 4 days. It's directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who made Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and the Lego Movie. They know how to balance spectacle with substance. But the real reason to watch is Andy Weir's commitment to accuracy. Science fiction shapes how people understand science. Millions of viewers will see this film and absorb its assumptions about space travel, alien biology, and stellar physics. If those assumptions are wrong, they spread misinformation. If they're right, they spread understanding. Project Hail Mary's assumptions are right. The astrophage metabolism is thermodynamically sound. The communication sequence reflects real linguistic theory. The mission architecture matches NASA concepts. The alien biology is consistent with environmental constraints. This doesn't mean the film is a documentary. It's entertainment first, but it's entertainment that respects your intelligence and rewards curiosity. The Martian proved audiences will embrace scientifically rigorous storytelling. Project Hail Mary raises the bar. If it succeeds, maybe we'll get more films that treat physics as a feature rather than an inconvenience. Andy Weir fixed his one mistake.